happening? Is it going? Come on, man. Come on, man. Looks like it's trying to happen. Hacha. There it is. All right. We're up. Hello, everybody. How's it going? Sorry I wasn't able to do a show yesterday. Monkey Butt's chemo appointment ran a bit long. They were a little behind. So she's got one more chemo left. And hopefully that's it. She still has to take some really expensive medication for like the next, 10 months, Monkey? 9 months? But as far as we can tell, no tumors. And that's the good spot. In other news, Trump's starting to go squirrely again, talking about tariffs and Jerome Powell. Remember, he was trying to get Jerome Powell fired, trying to fire Jerome Powell. And Jerome Powell's like, "You can't fire me, dude. I'm staying." And then he was asked, like, "Are you trying to fire Jerome Powell?" He's like, "No. But now he has his little acolytes, and Bill Pulte's one of them out there, demanding that rates get cut and get rid of Jerome Powell. The problem is that cutting rates will not help. Remember, go back to 2019. Donald Trump was trying to convince the Fed to make negative interest rates. Why? Because he's got a shitload of money he borrowed, and he'd love to get paid to borrow that money, right? This pretty much forced the Fed to keep interest rates artificially low for way too long. So when COVID hit, we didn't have the tool of lowering interest rates in order to spur the economy. Instead, we had to print cajillions of dollars to keep the economy from collapsing, which then resulted in massive inflation. We're getting ourselves to a similar point where if we lower interest rates, it will flood the market with too much money, causing massive inflation while we can't get anything. U.S. exports just hit an all-time low, while the trade deficit just hit an all-time high, because no one wants our stuff. We pissed off the world so much, they won't buy our cars, they won't buy our farm products, they won't buy any of our technology, they won't buy our weapons. We build the best weapons in the world. No one wants to buy them because we pissed them all off. And as a result, countries like Spain, which are like, we're not going to buy American weapons, we'll buy stuff from Europe. Now it's pissing Trump off. He's like, I'm going to put sanctions on Spain. Spain's like, okay, don't buy our olive oil. Whatever, we don't care. And as a result of Carney in Canada doing trade deals with the European Union, with China, with others, now Trump's like, I'm not going to negotiate with Canada. Canada's our number one trading partner. They buy more of our stuff than anybody in existence. We are vaporizing our economy out of stupid spite, and it's not going to bode well. So while all that's going on, the market hit an all-time high today. It had a pretty steep drop when Trump said he's cutting off Canada, but the only reason I can see that the market, I guess there's two reasons the market is up. One is the power players in the market trying to offload as much stuff onto you as they possibly can. And number two is inflation. The inflation is causing the US dollar to become weaker, which has caused the price of everything else to go up. And I know you say the CPI, like, oh, prices are going up. Prices are going up. You can tell because the stock market is going up while every indicator on earth shows that we are in or entering a recession. Every recession indicator is like recession, housing prices dropping, real estate dropping, right? Exports dropping, unemployment rising, liquidity at all-time lows, consumer debt all-time highs. Defaults on cars, all-time highs. Defaults on housing, all-time highs. Like, it's going to catch up to us. The market, for some reason, is not really paying much attention to it and behaving as though, like, the good times are still rolling, and that can't last forever. So, what's going to happen the 9th? On Wednesday, Trump had sort of hinted that he might extend the 90 days that he paused the tariffs a little longer. But then today he's all about like jacking up tariffs and putting 400% tariffs on Canada for dairy products, and so you really can't tell which way it's going to go. It's kind of just wild time for everybody. Yeah, I honestly, I honestly don't know which way the wind blows, because he could tweet out anything at any moment and just shift it for a day. And it's obvious that he and his acolytes are utilizing that to make a cajillion dollars off of options trading in these markets. So, I guess we just got to figure out what Trump's kids are investing in and then just follow that index for a while, huh? Well, on that news, shwink. Okay, turn that off. Bing. Scroll to the top. Kevin was first. Jay Burr says first, but nope. Shit, second. Iggy Lamone third. Snurler, Oi Houston. Matthew Bennett fourth. Nope, you're fifth. Iggy still working 7 days a week. Lame. Iggy says, I would like this bankruptcy case to end so I can take an effing vacation. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? I'd like to be doing this show from a tropical locale again. It's been a while. It's been 4 years since we've done a show from a tropical location. Remember when I did shows from like the beach in Hawaii? That was great. That was really great. I should do that. Oh, I probably can't. Interesting thing happened with GameStop today is that it flew above $24, even though max payment was at $23.50. And if you had purchased $23.50 puts when it went above $24, you could pick them up for 1 penny a share, $1 per contract. And then like an hour later, it dropped down to $23.48, and each one of those puts were worth $12. So you get a 12x in about an hour in investment into following Max Payne on those options. I should have done that. Maybe next time we get a weird Friday fly just above Max Payne like that, I'll give it a gamble and see if I can 10-12x it. Same thing happened with Tesla today, and same thing happened with the SPY. So if you had, when SPY hit, was it 616, something like that, if you had purchased a whole bunch of puts, a little below that, like 614 somewhere, you would pick them up for pennies, and by close they would have been worth like $4 each. So hey, fat cat, what's up? Come up here to bother me? Yeah, okay. Yeah, maybe one of these days I'll throw a gamble at that last minute, see what happens. Right, dude? Right? You're gonna come over here, you're gonna bother me. You can demand drugs. And you know what was happening for hours now? You've been on that bed. You've been on the ottoman right there for hours. You didn't move a muscle. The minute I start talking at the wall, you want to come on camera. That's what it's all about, isn't it? That's what it's all about, isn't it? Scratch your ear off your head? Yeah? Okay. There we go. All right. Bex, how you sitting? Happy birthday. Oh no, Trump refusing to talk to Canada about trade. He really has no clue, does he? The Canadians will fully embrace the EU and be stuck, putting their stuff on ships rather than on trains and trucks across the border to make up for it. They are a very resource-rich country and can easily fall back on resource extraction versus U.S.-based manufacturing, U.S.-intended manufacturing. So Canada's kind of like Iceland in that way. That in the end, they can ignore the banks, they can ignore manufacturing, they can ignore everything, and then just go back to what they survived off of. And in Iceland, it's fish. And in Canada, it's natural resources. All the oil that the U.S. was shipping to China is now coming from Canada, right? China doesn't need the U.S. We've got the governor of Nebraska begging Trump for a bailout because billions of dollars of soybeans are going to go unsold. Don't do that. We've got thousands upon thousands upon thousands of migrant laborers and farm workers ditching Nebraska, going to other states. And all these farmers planted soybeans to sell to China, and China won't buy them because they're buying all their soybeans from Brazil now. Stop it, you little butthole. Fine, drugs. Here. You little addict. Yeah. Do some lines, you little dirty cat. Okay. You'll stop bothering me. And they're about to lose their entire tax base. Businesses just straight up closed. Restaurants closed. Money is not flowing through Nebraska at the moment. And all these farmers, if they don't get straight bailouts from the government, which again will cost us tens of billions just in Nebraska, that's it. They're toast. They will go bankrupt. That land will be sold to giant agribusinesses, and small farmers will lose yet again. So, oops. Snare alert. Oh man, Moas, BBY, come on, free us from work soon. Oh, wouldn't that be nice? Do you need your drugs to get put into a pile because your nose blew them all over the place? Ugh, that's like kitty slime. Quit doing that. All right. Okay. Beck says I could use a big payout. My house goes up for sale in 3 weeks. I've lived here 22 years. Oh, you're renting? Oh man, that sucks. I lived in a house, wonderful place. I was renting. My landlord was 92 years old, and he kicked the bucket. So his kids, of course, inherited it. They inherited like several other properties. The guy had built like a few houses on this one block I lived on, and I was lucky that his grandson was a friend of mine. We grew up together. And so his parents like didn't immediately kick me out, but they started working on all the houses, remodeling, selling, or remodeling and re-renting. And I was paying $12.95 a month for a 2-bedroom. It's a pretty good deal. This is like, what, 10 years ago? And they remodeled it. And finally, after like, I was the last one. They're like, all right, time to get out. We got to remodel. They remodeled it, and the rent went to $4,000 a month on the house. So like, well, I'm not renting that anymore. It's a great spot right in town. I loved it. But yeah, it happens. I had friends' parents who rented the same place for like 40 years. Landlord died. Kids got it. Kids just tore the little fourplex down and put a giant mansion on it and kicked everybody out after 40 years. It's quite jarring. Like you find a place you rent it for a long time, and the rent prices don't necessarily fly to what market rates are. And so when you finally do find yourself back out in the rental market, you're like, people paying how much? Dude, stop it. Go down there. You knock it all over the place, man. What was that monkey? Going down there. Oh, I don't need that thing. Throw that away. Okay. All right. I need to get a new chair. This chair is starting to fall apart after, 4 years I've had this chair? It squeaks a lot. It's not super comfortable anymore. Kitty, I need to get on that. Okay. Whoa. All right, you're gonna come up here and be a dick. I'm gonna bear hug you. So you're stuck right here. I know, rare. Okay. All right. King ding dong, working on my Miata. The blow off valve I thought was stuck closed. I guess I have a weekend project. Anyone have real HKS SQS they want to sell me? HKS parts? SQS? I don't know what SQS is in that context. I know HKS spark plugs. Yeah. Seagill, happy birthday, H. My GME and UVXY calls got smoked last week. Yeah, it's going to sit at max pain for a while. Probably until T35 kicks in. Don't you dare. You turn around. You come around this way. Nope. You come around that way. It's this direction. Stop messing about. Jeez, my knees. I'm gonna throw you out the window if you keep messing about. You can keep rubbing your face on that. Yeah, very good. Yeah, I just pay attention to Max Payne, and you'll just kind of float around there until we get the catalyst of T-35s kicking in again, and then the floor will get raised once more, and then the next earnings report come out. They'll do another bond offering and all over again. Okay. Where'd my cat just bonked me, so I lost my spot here. Okay. Snort alert. I was talking to Iggy. T-Doc 119. GME T35 from 146 million volume day is July 17th. Thumb twiddling or chin scratching? That's a chin scratcher. So 17th. That is 3 weeks-ish. Okay. Next week's a short week. So keep that in mind that, things can happen during short weeks. It's a holiday. Speaking of holiday, I'll be playing the baseball game on the 3rd. So I'll try to live stream the baseball game again. I know I did a poor job of it a couple years ago. I'll try to remember to live stream the baseball game, the 4th of July Old Timers game, and then the holiday. So I'll probably do a 3-show week next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And plus, gosh, stop it. Just stop. Stop messing with my stuff. Right? Just stop messing. Just stop messing. Pass out already. You're sitting on your drugs. You're like boofing your drugs right now. Just chill out, man. Chill out. Chill, baby. Chill. Nope. I see you. Just gonna close your eyes for you. There we go. Yeah, turn around. That's the stuff. That's where we want you. Right there. Okay. Iggy Damone, Sirler, I'm low-key worried this is a Sears situation. Oh, we're going to be in this for like 10 years. Sears has, in their reinsurance program, they have $35 to $40 billion sitting in their reinsurance in Bermuda. So why is everybody like tripping all over themselves, figure out how to pay off what they have $2 billion left? Oh my gosh, I want to pop your head like a tomato. Just stop. Yeah. Well, come on. Just do it already. Just do it. We don't want to spend 6 years waiting for this crap. Right? You don't want to spend that time doing it. I don't want to spend that time doing that. Why anyone would do a play that would take 6, 7, 8, 9 years to pay out when that's a huge chunk of your life? You could be like experiencing awesome things. Right? Dude, don't you fucking do it. You little monster. Just stop. Why don't you go back and sleep on the bed like you were for the last 2 jillion hours? Right? Or just pass out. Because the drugs are going to wear off and you feel sleepy. Yeah. Ron Rose, when will this chaos end? Stop this train wreck, hoping for a nice payday. Payday would be really nice. We talk about it constantly. Just what a relief it would be on all aspects for all of you, for me, for this fat piece of shit right here, right? Wouldn't the pay be nice? Are you gonna bite my thumb? Yeah, you're too high. Try to bite my thumb. You're too high. You can't get it. You can't get it. You're too high. Oh. Yeah. Oh yeah. I can do nothing all day. Oh. Yeah, the killer comes out. Okay. Shadowfire, short air traffic controllers, Newark Airport. Still? I mean, it takes a year to train them. And they've closed. I think they closed like one of the schools, train more FDA people. So they're down to one school in Colorado. So they can't even fit people through it like they would because of all the Doge cuts and everything else. Any GME updates? Asks Sharky Flimpy. Nothing specifically that I know of. They're sitting on $9.1 billion cash and equivalents, which is the highest of any company pretty much in recorded history that's traded on a major exchange. and the market don't care. They don't care at all. Oh, sorry. When I say highest, I mean in proportion to market cap. It's at 90 something percent of market cap, and the next highest is 60. So that's a lot. Sir says all thumbs pressed for monkey. Yeah, buddy. Oh, happy dog. She's doing good. She's doing well. We're having to hop around a lot. She got to see a bunch of friends today. Although sadly, her best friend dog passed away today. Kaya, big fluffy Malamute wolf hybrid mix thing that was just a giant cuddle bear. It's kind of suddenly though. She was. I saw her just the other day out about walking, and it's kind of a bummer. We used to drop Monkey off in Kaya's backyard all the time, and they would just play and wrestle and have a great time. One of the funniest Kaya stories was I went to Kaya's backyard. We go in. Monkey immediately goes over to sniff this like little rainbow rat stuffed animal, and Kaya runs up and just swallows it. Done. And so I text Kaya's owner. I'm like, "Hey, Kaya just swallowed a stuffed animal rat whole. So keep your eye out for that." She's like, "Oh, that's weird." 2 days later, I get a text message. It's just a picture of a shitted out rainbow rat. Just cleared plunk rat deposit. Kaya was a good dog. Wasn't Kaya a good dog? Yeah, she was your buddy. Peach Sunday. Wish I bought 0-day SPY puts today. Had a feeling it might go down, but did not trust my feelings. Is your plan to short SPY on the 8th still on? I'm still leaning towards it. I still have a chunk of money for that. I guess it comes down to whether Trump is going to delay that or not. If he delays it, I expect it to go up maybe $10. If he doesn't delay it, I expect it to go down 20 or 30. So if you can get, let's say 25 puts, pretty close to at the money, and it goes down $20-$30, well, then you're sitting on tens of thousands of dollars, and that's pretty sweet. And I would expect Trump, after seeing the market go, do something to assuage everyone's fears, make a reverse announcement because Trump always chickens out, flip that stuff into way out of the money calls, watch it go all over again in like 200x your money in an afternoon. If we had been doing that the last time the volatility was hitting the SPY, all of us would be sitting around in our tropical beach chairs having this discussion. So, yeah, I guess we got to play the craziness, play the crazy man. Boris Raspy, Houston. Do you think GME squeeze requel will happen in 2025, 2026, 2027? Yeah, it's going to keep happening, and Ryan Cohen will keep diluting. So play according to that. Whether the dilution is through bonds or through direct sale of shares, they will dilute, pile on more cash. The folks who are like, hey, the economy is doing awesome, look at the market. And the economy's not doing awesome, but the market is doing awesome. Look at Berkshire Hathaway. Berkshire Hathaway is not spending their $300+ billion in cash they have. The minute Berkshire Hathaway starts spending that $300 billion, that's when the market finally realizes what's going on. Right now, the value of the stock market is over $100 trillion. And that is almost 300% the GDP. Remember the Buffett index, the what do they call it, the Buffett indicator? You want 1-to-1. Right now it's 3-to-1. And if it's 3-to-1, that means everything's overpriced. And when it's below that, when it's fraction of 1, then everything's underpriced. That's when you buy. So you sell up here, you buy down here. Parity is when it's equal. We are far from equal. We have a long ways to drop. That means for us to get down to 1-to-1 ratio, that means the SPY has to be at like $200 a share. So that's a huge way to fall. And it's going to come. I just don't know when. I don't know when that shoe will finally drop, because maybe it will be when banks start to realize they aren't getting money from mortgage holders for foreclosures start to go through the roof. Because we're experiencing the defaults right now, but we haven't seen the wave of foreclosures. A lot of those foreclosures sort of got put off or forgiven, especially for commercial real estate. I wouldn't doubt if we see a wave of that for residential real estate. But eventually we'll start to see short sales hit the market, and that's when the prices are going to start dropping really hard on a lot of these properties across the U.S., and we're going to get our big correction. And that's when smaller banks will go poof, get gobbled up by bigger banks go poof, and get gobbled up by even bigger banks, and then the sky is falling. Then, the layoffs go from concerning to massive, and Trump will have to print because we don't have very far we can cut interest rates. So interest rates, the Fed interest rate's still at 4, 3.5, somewhere in there. That's not very far ways to cut. And people still don't want our bonds. So we'll print like crazy, and no one's going to want to buy our bonds. And the interest rates on those will still be through the roof. So we'll be paying out huge amounts. Like, the equivalent of our entire federal budget in the 1990s is probably going to get paid out in just interest on treasuries at this point. So, yeah. Brennan Wells, sub BBY, sub No Labs. BBBY postponed that hearing again for the 20th month in a row. There's apparently something with the California Tax Authority going to trial in 2026 with BBBY, although there's openings for negotiations in between there. That's all I got. Lisa, how did you clear your no labs position yet? Yeah, I cleared out. I sold my no labs. I sold it. I'll wait until they finish their dilution, if they dilute, and the eventual reverse split, and then I'll jump back in probably. Ryan in Sartell. Ryan Sartell, or just Ryan in Sartell. We could have cut rates if we didn't do those silly tariffs. Exactly. If there were no tariffs going on, right? We could cut rates. People would still want to buy our bonds. We'd be fine. But the tariffs pissed off the world, and the world wants nothing to do with us. We are self-isolating, which is not a place you want to be if you want to be, dealing with international markets where there's infinite growth. Companies are looking at the United States like, well, there's 330 million Americans, but there's 8 billion people around the world. So if I want growth for my company, then I'm just going to ignore the United States and go for the 8 billion because that is where the growth is. And Americans, in our minds, we are like, we're the entire world. We're 4% of the world. That's it. We're 4%. And 96% is elsewhere, right? We had our moment, and we shot ourselves in the foot, and our moment is quickly just disappearing over the horizon. The sun may rise on us again someday, but not today. Turkish, where's the money, Hustowski? Probably in Trump coin or something. Turkish loves monkey butt. Yeah, the monkey butt. Should I give you a treat early in the show, monkey? Huh? Yeah? Should I give you a treat early? Crazy cat? You like the treats? How about that? Ooh, oh, look at that. That's a fat boy right there. How fat that one is. Oh, man. You want that? Put it in your mouth, ding dong. Come on. There, it's on your foot. Now you have to eat it. Yeah, so many pig ears. Ugh. You are a terrorist. Okay. Just made me put gas as $1.98. Totally. Right? Just made me super chats. Alligator Alcatraz, DeSantis, Florida Gitmo. Yeah, so Ron DeSantis is trying to force the eminent domain of a private airfield that's worth $200 million for a sale for $14 million, so he can put in his own tent city for immigrants, for them to like sweat their balls off out there in the swamplands. Yeah, being pro concentration camp seems like a bad play, especially when you're going to be essentially imprisoning the entire Latin and Haitian population of your state, which is, let's face it, a giant demographic of your electorate. All those Cubans who are like Republicans, Trump, rah rah rah, are now finding themselves suddenly without legal status, subject to being just gathered up and thrown into prisons. They don't, just because you voted for him does not mean they care about you. Learn the lesson of the Verband Nationaldeutschen Juden. This is the Jews for Hitler, the National Party of Jews. These were Nazi Party members who thought if they supported Hitler, he would make an exception for them. He did not. He killed or deported all of them. Every last one of them. Killed or deported all of them once he coalesced power. So just because you're like, oh, I will give fealty to you because you're also powerful, he's still going to see you as an other. You got the wrong skin color, the wrong name, the wrong country of origin, the wrong heritage. They will strip you of your citizenship. They will strip you of your visa, of your green card, of your temporary status, of your refugee status, of your asylum status. They'll strip all of you of it, and send your ass to the alligator Alcatraz, where you go sweat your balls off in a tent covered in mosquitoes until they figure out if they can deport your ass to Ecuador or El Salvador, or if El Salvador fills up, then what? That's the lesson to be learned about this is when the state runs out of capacity to hold you, right? And countries won't accept you, that's when they start disappearing people. That's what they do. They're like, well, shit, we don't have any more room for these guys, and this country won't take them, so we gotta make some room. That's what they do at kill shelters for dogs and cats, right? They don't have room for the new dogs, cats coming. The ones that have been on the shelf a while, those ones get the injection and put in a freezer. That's just how it works, right? Out with the old, in with the new. And we're setting up a system specifically for that. We'll send them to South Sudan. We'll send them to El Salvador. Send them wherever we can. And if no one's taking them, then you need a solution. And the solution is a final solution, right? So just keep that in mind. We're getting really, really close to that. We got the militarized Gestapo running around in their little fatigues and armor plating and night vision goggles, blowing the doors off people's houses and ripping them away from their jobs and their families. We got, in immigration court the other day, they detained a mother and her 6-year-old son who's going through chemo, and I guess like brandished a gun, and the 6-year-old pissed himself right there in the courtroom, and then they sent them off to detention without ever changing his pants. Right? This is the heartless type stuff that we're facing, and it's not going to end well for them. It's not going to end well for us. If a new administration comes in, I don't have my hopes up for that at the moment, because the amount of crimes against humanity charges that would be levied against a whole bunch of people who are supporting this authoritarian push will be so great that they would have to double down and go for staying in office forever. But if a new administration somehow comes in, all these ICE agents are going to face going to Leavenworth, Supermax, wherever, for the rest of their days for the crimes against humanity that they did. And they literally on tape are saying, we're just following orders. All these ding-dongs need to understand they're on tape. There's video evidence of these crimes being committed. So you're not going to escape this. You might be all high and mighty and woohoo right now. But when it's time to reap what you're sowing, well, it's going to suck a lot. So keep that in mind, nice people. Jigga Shukla, best play is always taco. Yep. When it starts to rocket down, flip it and expect to rocket up. My guess is I'll probably do something like this. I'll go shaboink, bink, shaboink, bink, shaboink, bink, shaboink, bink, shaboink, bink, until it just peters out to nothing. Chris Taylor, it actually would be good to bankrupt the military-industrial complex here, if you ask me. It would. I mean, like, we need a military-industrial complex. We do. We need people who can make modern weapons and modernize our military, do all that stuff. What we don't need is the old system of doing it and forcing, I don't know how to put this, like forcing the unnecessary procurement of things we don't need. Like right now, what we need to invest in are fiber optic drones by the millions. We need to have a gigantic fiber optic drone business, building drones, right? Because that's going to be the future of warfare. The future of warfare isn't going to be tanks. It isn't going to be, big artillery guns. It's going to be these drones. These drones sneaking through lines, blowing stuff up by the millions. And I read an article today, or I guess a Twitter thread today from Chris Owicki about China's plans on using its 500,000 ship-strong fishing fleet to launch 50-kilometer range fiber optic drones and basically just annihilate Taiwan that way, because missiles are going to get intercepted. Facing NATO weaponry versus Chinese Soviet platform weaponry will not stand a chance. It's going to be drones, and that's going to be it. So, what then? Are they going to put like a giant fishing net over the whole of Taiwan, so that nothing can get through, birds can't get out, whatever? It's gonna be gnarly, and you can have F-35 flying around, cool. It's all well and good. They can drop a couple of ordinances and then go back to base, and for another couple $1 million do another run. Or you can have 1 million drones that cost $15 each, all just annihilating everything on the fronts and beyond. That's where warfare is. It's trench warfare combined with drones. Drones. So, big military purchases are going to have to shift to that more practical level. And then it'll be us versus the drones once AI gets involved and it reaches a singularity, and then we're going to be hiding from the tools we made. We'll be underground like mole people, right? What was the name of in the time machine, Kitty? The mole people that lived underground, the Morlocks or whatever they were. Morlocks. We're gonna become Morlocks. Where was I? Kelly Reed, happy birthday, HW. U.S. economy shrank much faster than expected. U.S. dollar index is under $97. Buckle up. Canada's economy shrank in April. Broad declines in manufacturing. So what happens when GME converts another convertible note, making it have more cash to the war chest than its market cap? Has that ever happened before? I mean, there are instances where companies generate higher revenue and profits than their entire market share. Way back when, go rewind. Back when I first went on the Gist in 2021, I talked about Materion. Materion is the company that controls all the beryllium on Earth. Like 99% of all the beryllium comes out of their mine in Utah, and they have something like $200 billion in proven reserves of beryllium. They sell $1.5 billion in beryllium every year, while having an entire market cap of like $800 million. So there is precedent for kind of a lopsided realm like that. GameStop itself, in 2020 was doing $6 billion years in sales, and yet you could buy the entire company for $200 million. Granted, they were experiencing losses at that point. So there is such a case for values to be really lopsided like that. But as far as like just being straight cash rich, having the stock price be this low compared to how much cash you have on hand, especially when you're making proven profit every year of several $100 million, just profit guaranteed just because of your investments of this cash into treasuries and whatnot. It seems rather silly to have the stock price be below what it was 4 years ago than it is now. Just doesn't compute, really. Stephanie L. Super chats. Hola, I'm confused when you say buy SPY puts. Is SPY an individual stock or a group of stocks? I also think Chicago is going to start arresting ICE. I hope Chicago starts arresting ICE. SPY is an ETF. So it's an ETF of everything that's in the S&P 500. It's very tech heavy. The big seven, Google, Nvidia, Facebook, Microsoft, Apple, and oh shit, what's the... I'm forgetting all of them. Anyway, there's 7 tech stocks. Amazon and number 7. I don't know, the 7th one in there. It is based on those 500 stocks plus a big heaviness on those 7, and it follows the S&P 500 essentially. So when the S&P 500 shrinks, when the market shrinks, the SPY goes down. When the S&P 500 goes woohoo, then the SPY goes up. So it's the easiest way to invest in the 500 stocks that make up the S&P 500, or to bet against the S&P 500, as it were. Kikadian, H-Town, happy birthday. Talk BBY for the people who get in here late. I don't really have much to talk about in Bed Bath & Beyond. They did a hearing today, not much was accomplished, and there's going to be a trial date set for the squabble between, I guess, the California Tax Authority and Bed Bath itself, but that may get settled before anything happens. It's about a year out would be the trial. I think June of next year, July of next year, something like that. So things can happen between now and then. But they're now going into a discovery phase for that. So sit and wait. Iglamon Fato Kato knows that the office means drugs, and Monkey knows she gets treat whenever you sit down and talk to no one. Yeah, I sit here with a bright light in my face, talking to a wall, staring at myself essentially, because it's like I have like 3 mirrors going on right now of myself. Yeah, right. Yeah, you good dog. Are you a good dog? Monkey and I went to town earlier. We got some teriyaki. We went to all the shops and got treats from everybody. Yeah. You remember, if you're in the Seattle area, you're welcome to my 4th of July barbecue. We bounce house and slip and slide and all that jazz. So come do that. That's non sequitur, but come and join me. Last year, Peruvian Bull came out and came to the 4th of July barbecue. Cheap gas or gas leak. Sold out. Shoot, we're sold out. Here we go. F in Nebraska, effed up in the medicinal weed shite too. Okay. Kikadian, H-Town, nice shirt. Why do you keep acting surprised when Trump destroys U.S. economy when Elon a long time ago said he was going to? Literally high on ketamine, Elon said it on stage at a Trump rally. Oh, we know they're going to destroy it. What's blowing my mind is that they're destroying the economy, but the market is acting as if they aren't. That's the thing that's boggling my mind, right? That they're like, hey, we're going to actively destroy the economy and brutalize all of our exports and imports and everything else and fire all the government services and make it so that we can't track hurricanes and tornadoes and get disaster relief to people or make sure they've got medical coverage or kids are fed or parks are available to be visited or anything else that's useful that we could possibly do. So we're going to spend all that money on vaporizing the agriculture sector by getting rid of all the workers, destroying tourism, and making so exports are impossible to go out. And in that case, right, the market's like, oh, all-time high. Yay! All the numbers are terrible. All-time high. Right, buddy? Right? Like, what are we even thinking? What are we even thinking, man? Huh? Oh, if I do a big scratch? Oh yeah. Yes. Beck, sadly, not renting. Vision and vestibular therapy is expensive and not covered. Traumatic brain injury plus high interest rates for too long. Ouch. I'm sorry, Bex. That sucks. That sucks a lot. Frozen Productions, Neil deGrasse Tyson, Ichiro, and others claim our universe could be inside a black hole. How could that work? How are we able to see other universes if this is true? So the idea is that the black hole is so big, the event horizon is beyond our scope. It's kind of a more mental exercise than anything that's actually testable. Now, if you have a small mass, you got a black hole like this monster right here, weighs 18 pounds or whatever, 20 pounds. I don't know how much you are, fatty. You'd make a black hole where the event horizon is like submicron, meaning no light can escape from that point. Planet Earth were to become a black hole, I think it would be less than a centimeter across, would be the event horizon. Jupiter would be something like a meter. Our sun would be maybe a few kilometers across. Very big black holes, like the monster black holes at the center of galaxies that could be in the millions or billions of solar masses, those can have event horizons that are thousands of miles across. Now, what makes black holes scary is the sort of delta of gravitational pull across distances. So if you are coming into a black hole, something the size of a, bigger than the sun, like 1.4, 1.8, 10 solar masses, somewhere in there, as you accelerate towards the event horizon, that's the point where gravity is so strong that light can no longer escape. That basically gets redshifted into nothingness. So light tries to go up and it just comes right back down again. What do I do with my baseball? I usually have my baseball here for things like this. And when I moved, I don't know what to do. Have you seen my baseball? Have you seen my baseball? Is my baseball in here? Ugh. Oh, it is in here. Oh. Okay. All right. So you know how you toss a baseball up in the air? It comes right back down again, right? That's because you accelerated it. It goes up, it slows down without force acting upon it to keep it accelerating. Gravity pulls on it, gravity slows it down, and eventually it accelerates back down to your hand at the exact same speed at which you toss it up in the air, right? Light can do that too. So if you are in a black hole, like if you're light emitting from the center of the black hole, the light goes up, gravity pulls on it, and it shoots right back down again. So the event horizon is that point at which all the light starts to bend back towards the center of mass inside the black hole. Now, if you are falling into a black hole, something that's a few solar masses in size, right? Your feet can be accelerating towards the central mass faster than your head is if you're falling down this way. And it's enough of a difference that can actually rip you apart. They call it spaghettification. This is the Roche limit. The Roche limit is usually experienced around large planets, so like where Saturn's rings are is the Roche limit. So large objects come in, they get broken apart into lots of little pieces because one side of it is accelerating faster than the other side. That's why tidal forces exist on Earth, is that we have, the Earth on one side, the moon on the other, and the water is being pulled at a higher rate closer to the moon, and at a slower rate further away from the moon, and it causes a stretching to happen in the Earth's shape. Makes us kind of an oblate spheroid as a result. Now, if the moon were really big, it might rip us apart. Or if the Earth is really big and then where the moon is, the moon might get ripped apart. The same tidal forces act on Io, which is a moon of Jupiter, and cause it to be really hot on the inside and have lots of volcanics go on because it's constantly just like squish, 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 squish from the delta, the difference between gravitational pull on one side versus gravitational pull on the other side. Okay, so if you are facing a really, 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 really big black hole, right? You can actually pass through the event horizon and not be affected by that much delta because gravity is an equation that is basically 1 over the radius squared. So if I might have to bring up paint here to draw a picture. Let's do that. Paint. Boop. You go over here. Shboing. We have to make you really big because that's what we do. There we go. Okay. Scene. Paint. There we go. All right. So if we have, I need circles, don't I? Circle. We have object 1, object 2, right? And then the radius is the distance between these two things. So gravity basically comes down to a 1 over radius squared, right? That's supposed to be an r. That was a terrible r. It's supposed to be 1 over radius squared. So if you have an object, right, that is a distance of like 4 here, right? That's supposed to be a 4. And then on the other side of that object is a 4.1, right? So this can give you tidal force roughly of 1 over 16, because 4 squared is 16, verse 1 over, I have no idea what 4.1 squared is. Calculator. 4.1 squared. Oops. Uh, 16.81. Okay, 16.81. Okay, if you had that type of delta and you were a human body going towards something object like this, imagine this being the difference between, say, 4 miles an hour and 4.1 miles an hour, right? So like, if you were strapped between two cars, your hands are strapped to the rear bumper of one car, and your feet are strapped to the front bumper of another car, and they're both traveling at 4 miles an hour. If the front car starts traveling at 4.1 miles an hour, you're going to get ripped in half eventually, right? You're gonna get spaghettified, and that'll be that. Now, if these objects here, we'll make a new little circle. If we have ourselves a really big object, right? And one thing I forgot to do with this graph here is that this goes to the center of this gravitational body. We have a really big object here, and we're we're far away, right? Make a little circle here. We're really far away. Now, this could be a distance of, let's say it's a distance of like, I don't know, 1,000, right? To there. And to the far side is 1,000.1. So this becomes 1 over 1 million. Right? And then versus the other side, what is 1,000.1 squared? Clear. 1, 2, 3. 0.1 times 1. 1, 2, 3. 0.1 equals 1 over 1, 2, 1, 0, 0, 0, 2, 0, 0, basically. Okay. So this is essentially 0 over 0. Like your body won't even recognize the gravitational pull of this. There's not enough difference there at all for you to really pay attention, because gravity is very distance dependent. So if you have a really big black hole that has a really big event horizon, you're just not going to notice the delta from like your toes to your head. So you can be inside that event horizon, where no light can escape. Any light that leaves your planet or whatever won't leave that massive event horizon. But at the same time, you won't know you're in there, because the delta V between where you are versus the center of mass inside that black hole is so far away, it's just not going to make much of a difference. It's such a small amount. It's like an unappreciable percentage. Just like 200 is to 1,000, to a million. A million doesn't really pay attention to 200. 16 pays attention to 0.81, because that's, a larger percentage of the total. But yeah, so we could be inside the event horizon of a really giant black hole and would just never know it. problem with that idea is that we know that the universe is expanding, and event horizons can expand, but the objects inside of the event horizon probably don't expand from each other. So they probably maintain an orbit around whatever that main center of mass is. That would be the singularity. So it's a fun thought experiment. It's more in the realm of like, that would be neat. That's a cool little sci-fi trick. But yeah. Alex Bishop super chats. If black holes bend space and time, our bodies bend with it, and technically spaghettification wouldn't rip your body apart. Am I right? No, it'd rip your body apart. That's why, like, when we're in like cosmology classes, deep space astrophysics classes, whatnot, we talk about the indestructible man. The indestructible man goes in the sun, and what does he see? Indestructible man is on this giant planet. What does he see? Indestructible man is going through the event horizon. There's some interesting things that happen with the way time dilation happens, and as you get the E equals mc squared, become a supermass and whatnot. One of the things is, imagine, like, here, let's do new, don't save. You have a black hole. This will be the event horizon of the black hole, right? And we have, let's see here, let's make my brush a little thicker. Brush. Okay. Let's say you have yourself a spaceship. There's your spaceship. Okay, this spaceship is outside the black hole, and they send a little dude to go fall into the black hole. So this poor guy, the indestructible man, is falling into the black hole. As you approach a high mass center, time for you slows down because light gets stretched. We get some time dilation here. So as you fall in, right, it's going to look to the people on the ship as if you are taking forever to fall into this black hole, because your light is being stretched and time is dilating, and they will go probably hundreds or thousands of generations and never see you pass into that black hole. Meanwhile, as you pass in that black hole, you will watch like the whole of the universe come to an end. You watch civilizations rise and fall, because time elsewhere is like going crazy. Time for you is slowing down. Shut up, cat. I'm trying to do a lesson here. So hush. Yeah, I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you, you black hole. And so the folks in this plane, say they made you walk the plank because they're pirates and you have to jump into the black hole. They will never get the satisfaction of watching you fall in, although you will get the satisfaction of watching them all wither and die, essentially. And what's crazy is, as you get closer and as you touch the event horizon itself, right? So you're the indestructible man. You're touching the event horizon here. Whoops. The way light bends around black holes means light can come from all directions and bend and fall into a single source. So light is coming from let's make this yellow, shall we? Light is coming from all sorts of regions of space and like bending into the black hole, coming from everywhere and bending in because of the giant gravity well this thing makes. So it's bending everywhere. So not only will you get to see basically the end of the universe as you fall into the black hole, because time dilates and you start to accelerate to the speed of light, etc., you'll get to watch all of the universe, every point in space, everywhere. It's just giant, bright, blinding light of the universe ending as you fall in. The other crazy thing, and we'll have to erase these little light rays here, is that the orbital velocity at the event horizon is the speed of light, and light leaves your body at the speed of light, correct? So you're here at the event horizon. If you were to look any direction tangential to the plane, so tangent, so along the plane, the light would leave your booty, orbit the black hole, and then you would be looking at your own ass as you fall into that black hole. You would see an infinite number of your butts. And you turn around and you watch all your butts turn around, and you see all your infinite number of butts. And you turn around again, and you watch them all turn around, an infinite number of butts. So you get to watch yourself. You can watch your own ass as you fall into the black hole, because the speed of light of your body is orbiting the black hole at the speed of light. Not only that, but that light might get stuck there forever. So even as you pass through, right, the next person who comes in may see your ass and their ass. Just forever stuck, orbiting in all directions of the black hole. It's fucked up. So anyway, it can be a center mass in here, and there can be other orbiting bodies, planets, star systems, you name it, inside this thing if it's big enough. And we would just never know that we're trapped inside this thing because we can't see out of it. And we sort of have a veil around us as it is. Don't save. We'll do another circle here. We have to us, it feels as though nice circle there, get nice and centered, that if we are planet Earth here, in the center of the universe, kind of not to scale, wherever we look, no matter which direction we look from our perspective out in the universe, what we see eventually is that there's a wall we can't see anything past. And this is what we infer to be sort of the hot fuzz from the Big Bang. And the hot fuzz is made up of two things. One, the first instances of light being emitted from when atoms started to coalesce with electrons. Electrons could change levels and emit light after the hot just goo that was the Big Bang. And two, objects are all accelerating from us all over the place, that eventually we look out and objects start to redshift away. So they have like, oh, I should do red here. Why not? They have like small red shifts not too far from us, big red shifts far away from us, huge red shifts really far from us, and infinite red shifts as far as we're concerned outside of that fuzziness. So objects which would be invisible light starts to slip into infrared, start to slip into microwave, start to slip into radio wave, and eventually they just disappear from our vision entirely as they blend into that cosmic microwave background radiation that we see everywhere. So if there's objects outside this realm here, we don't see them. Their light will never reach us because they're accelerating from us too far, and we're too fast, and we're accelerating away from them too fast. So what that could be, that wall of cosmic microwave background radiation, could be the event horizon of a black hole, is kind of what they're all theorizing at this point. But here we are, stuck with our galactic anus, bleeding anus. Oh, my anus is bleeding, for the love of God. My anus is bleeding. My spoon is too big. Okay. Anywho, there's the most hand-wavy explanation of black holes and time dilation you'll get in a while. Any super chats I missed right here? No, I got them. Everybody dance, yay! Woohoo! For the love of God, my anus is bleeding. Okay. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, just type that sucker in there and you'll have a great time. That's a 25-year-old viral video for you. Dog, cat, we're an hour. We got shit to do. I will see you guys on Monday. I want you to have a great weekend. Get ready for the last 4th of July ever. And have yourselves a great day, right? Okay. All right, cool. Anyway, peace out, Girl Scouts. I'll catch you on Monday. You guys have a great time and watch the world go pee pop. Bing. Yes, rejected. Yes, Don Hertzfeldt rejected cartoon. It's a brilliant cartoon. It's amazing. For the